I just got in my Majacraft order, which part of it, as you saw in the unboxing, was this set of double pitch hand combs. I'm looking at the dealer manual on my laptop. 2-row mini comb, I'm calling them. So I am now wrapping this cellophane wrapping. So I ordered 2 sets. I'm going to keep one, and one I am putting in my Etsy shop. Okay. I'm wrapping this cord. And then they just pull out of the package. Now they say in their materials that the tines aren't super sharp, so that's good for me, because I am afraid of everything that could possibly hurt me. So I think this is just the holder. I could be wrong. So I really kind of struggled around the web to find some resources to give me a good demo. Most of the people that were demoing them did a nice job, but they weren't using the clamping system. And I like the idea of the clamping system. So it looks like you have this base, which has the rubber feet on it to keep it secure, and little felt pads and a groove carved in the center. And then according to the manual, you clamp it like so. Now this just looks clumsy though, because I would think you're going to want to have access to that, but well, we'll see. So this is the first time. I've never used combs before, and again, making myself a little vulnerable here, but I really feel like it's sort of along that theme of if I can do it, pretty much anybody can do it. Now, this I saw Lisa on Soulful Spinner doing this, and it's called lashing, and she puts the skin side here and the tips protruding out of the comb. And so I got this little clump of wool here from IU O'Brien, and I've been flicking and spinning this, and I've opted to spin it because the fibers are a little bit short. I'm going to turn this in a different angle. I'm so paranoid that I'm going to hurt myself. Everybody's got me so worked up. Oh my gosh. There. So it's set up that the clamp goes all the way through the handle, and that rubber foot seems to really hold it in place nicely. I'm not going to do a ton of fiber, again, first time here, but the thing that I'm most excited about is that I can have a different way of processing versus only carding. Sometimes my hands get sore from just carding. Okay, then you take the other card, and I think that you do this a couple times. I got the double pitch, which means 2 rows of combs. They have a single pitch, but this is what I was told is used for finer stuff. The other thing I read somewhere was not to try to take too much on your first passes. Again, I don't have a whole lot of wool on here. I feel like I need to be up higher. Not as much. I'm going to pull the wool up a little bit. They don't really give you a whole lot of instruction on the Majacraft site. Again, there's a really engaging host for a lot of the Majacraft videos. Her name is Susie. I don't know her last name. I call her the Wool Wench, but she also does it without taking advantage of the base. All right, then I think, is it like this then? To put it back. I'm going to tell you already, I'm digging the fact that it doesn't, oops, I took too big of a bite. Doesn't use the same, oh yeah, this is where they say you want to spray it with water because it just got a little bit staticky. And I wondered, why do I care? But I can see now that if you don't, it's going to double back on itself. Gotcha. Okay, so I'll have a sprayer next time. Oh my goodness, sweet stuff. And then I think I remember seeing somebody flip their combs around, and I think that might be why, because my one side is kind of depleted. I'm still seeing some little neps from the tips, right? Because with the flick cards, it just, they go right away. Like I only have to do 1 pass on one side. Well, no, I do 4 actual passes. I flip them over and then I do each side. Okay, so that's pass number 2. So I'm going to take this all off and assume that is going to go into the wool for the quilting bats. And now I'm going to do this again. Too much. Finally got rain today after a big dry season. There was a few days where the rain went by us, which was really frustrating to watch. I want that wool that's on there. Son of a gun. And apparently today we got a nice, I don't know if this is right. one guy I was watching, and he had a real cool rhythm about the way he did it. He like flipped it around or something like that. I need to be better at documenting the resources that I use so I can share those. Typically I'll just watch them and then forget about them, but I think I usually like them, so I'll run through my liked videos. Getting a lot more comfortable with the YouTube features. So I'm not willing to call that waste. It's the only thing I'm struggling with here. But it's not coming off. Alright, well, let's do the Diz now. So this comes with the set, this absolutely fetching little hook. It's got a little bit of glue on it because it was glued to the little instruction sheet here, threading and dizzing. It's just like this teensy weensy little hook. It's just so cute. And then the Diz is this very pretty brass thing. Okay, now I seem to remember that the curved side, I can't remember if it's concave or convex, but the curve towards the combs is the correct thing to do. All right, and then I remember you make a little bit of something. I think I'm going to use the medium hole. Don't know why I decided that. I think it's because I figured that'd be the easiest one for me to grab the wool through by. So this is so fine that it doesn't look anything like any of the stuff I've seen. Oh. Oh my gosh. I'm digging this. Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a comparison because I'm kind of fixating right now on the waist. So I'm going to compare the same amount of wool from the same ewe, from the same position in the fleece. Do some with the flicker and some with these combs and just see how much wastes more. It's kind of pulling sort of hard, but you know, I've never used a Diz. Some of that other stuff is getting in there. So I have O'Brien on my wheel right now. So I'm going to also spin this and just marvel at the loveliness. Yeah, I'm just really interested to see the difference in the weight. And then I'll weigh the waist from both methods. All right, this is really gross, but my legs are really hairy, and so fibers stick into the bristle on my legs. You know, locked down. Why shave? Who cares? This is extremely satisfying. One other thing I'm hearing, I'm hoping it's not fibers breaking, but I'm wondering if that's probably the same thing that happens with my flicking. Oh, this feels really good. I am a little bit stiff from just the anxiety of doing it for the first time. I wonder how many things I did wrong. I look forward to your critiques and advice in the comments. Seriously, I would love to be judged harshly here. I do not like stuff going to waste, so I'm going to work this until my fingers are sore, probably. All right, well, so let me think about this. So this is the skin side, which is the side that I like to spin from. So if I'm going to make a center pole nest, and oh yeah, so the sun side, and look at you, I can tell that's sun side because it's a little bit bleached. It's going to be on the outside of my little, looks like a pile of poo, my little snake. So that'll be this piece that I'll spin from. All right, so now let's do a review of the waist, it just feels like it was pretty wasteful. That's what I wasted and that's what I got. So have to work on that. So that was the first time I've used combs. So I can totally see this being another alternative for me in my fiber prep repertoire once I figure out how to minimize the amount that goes into the waste pile. Very exciting. Okay, so this is Pearl's ewe. This is graduation day for these 4 sheep I'm halter training. And she's a really, really pretty dark catnugget. Great catnugget. Her neck is, oops, come on, princess. Her neck is dark and her wool is light. So I fielded a question recently on my YouTube channel, which I love. And it was one of those questions that made me pause. Because the question was, why do you need to halter train them? So I thought that was a great question. The reason we halter train them, there's a lot of really good reasons. Number one is when it's time to do any kind of care on them, it's a lot easier to handle them if they're used to having a halter on. You want that little piece of clover? All right, never mind. Another reason why it's nice to halter train them is you get that one-on-one time with them. You get to know their personality. You get to handle them more and get a baseline. So this is what I really like, is if the line is slack, I'm not dragging her. People that have sheep know that this is the accomplishment point right here. This is pretty much what you want. Another reason to halter train is if you are going to be showing them in any kind of livestock shows or exhibitions, you really can show them off at their best when they're walking naturally like this, versus, struggling and fighting you and jumping and flailing all over the place. I will never ever, I shouldn't say that, but I have no plans to video the first day of halter training, because it's obvious they're really unhappy and it doesn't make for good footage. There's Pearl's beautiful little girl. So he's been doing pretty well. I like to take them through doors, make them hit a few obstacles, and then we get out here and then I just let her go right out on pasture. Oops, there you are. Good job, sweetie. This is Audi's ewe lamb. She's Morit, and kind of the craziest thing, we bred Audi black with a black-based ram. Can't remember if it was Rush or Jon Snow. And we got a Morit ewe and a black ewe, which is kind of crazy. So I know this is Audi's ewe because she's got a teensy bit of white on her nose. Little flecks. Anyways, so I know that's her. And she's also really friendly at night when it's time to go in. She always lets me cuddle with her, but she's not a big fan of the halter. So, but you can have that. That's your reward. Oops, okay. Go potty. So I've got 3 Morit lambs this year, and another benefit of halter training is it makes it easier for you to recognize them, to develop more of a relationship, and kind of get a sense for who they are. This girl's really nice. They're all really soft and sweethearts. Oh, baby. So yeah, this is the ultimate, well, no, it isn't. Actually, this is when I do halter training, this is the last cycle, is to go around this scary pen where they lose sight of the barn. But at this point, I can take them anywhere. I'll take them on walks around the house, past other pens where they get distracted, and oh, this nice slack lead. Perfect. Such a good girl. It's the end of August, so it's cooling off nicely. We had a blistering hot July. Everybody did well. I was able to keep up with the water, thank goodness. Such a good girl. She's doing really good, but I still have a good firm grip on this lead because if she gets away out here, it takes a little time to get them back into the pen. Okay, that's a good obstacle there. Banging gate. A little bit scary. Can you get past the gate, sweetie? Good girl. And Pearls You always waits for someone to go with her. Every time. Here she is. Okay, hold on. And this one is Arya's You. And if anybody's familiar with the Game of Thrones characters, Arya is the little Spitfire who does not take nonsense from anybody and has a lot of energy and spirit, and that is her daughter here just exemplifies that. So this was Arya's first lamb. Another example. I'm not going to say we're disappointed, but we were sort of hoping to get more blacks. But this is another example where we bred a black ewe. Arya's black, and we bred her to one of the black-based rams. It was either Rush or Jon Snow, and got a Morit. So what we need are, in order to get more black-based, which is what we would like, is to have blacks without the recessive brown. And actually, that's an interesting idea. Maybe we'll do an episode on the genetics, if you guys are interested in that. You want the buttercups? The girls already got all the nice violets. You're going to take the lead here? All right, you get your snack. Let's go. And there's a couple squawkers over here. These are the new sheep that we just brought in. And look, Cola, the black one. She's quite demanding. I'll bring your hay in a second. Just got to finish with these girls. She's a beauty. So yeah, so she doesn't have any marks, and she's the biggest of the Morits. And so that's how I'm gonna know. Well, plus her ear tag, but it's nice to be able to pick them out by sight. So I know who she is now. Come on. So this is Mrs. Hughes's ewe lamb, and is with spotted sheep. It's really easy to tell who they are. Hi, sweetheart. So she's got a little brown patch on her ear. And then she's got one side of her face has that brown. And again, this would be another interesting... Come on, honey, I just want to show them your... There we go. So another interesting thing about the Shetland genetics is the whole white dynamic. So you would think she's a white ewe. Her whole body is white. But those little brown patches tell a different story. She's a little peanut. Really sweet and gentle. She's my best one as far as leading on the Halter. Aren't you, honey? Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. So lambs, we don't breed. Did you want that piece? You're not going to eat, are you? Is it a little clover right there you could have? We don't breed our lambs, and we don't sell lambs. We usually hold them over for a year and evaluate them before we'll sell them as breeding stock. And so she's got a year before she's going to have any type of change in her life. Oh my goodness. You want to go potty? Can you stand it? Just how nums. Okay, let's go. Come on. Oh, you're done. So I have one more group to go. I think it's only 3 more ewes left. And then I think I might try halter training my lambs from last year. because you can halter train any age. That's what I'm going to do. With the goal of getting everybody on the halter so it's easier to work with them and stuff. Okay, nice job, sweetheart. Let's see how you do with the gate. Are you afraid of the gate? It's pretty clangy. You trust me? Come on. Oh, my good girl. Okay, now it's time to go out and eat. Yay, we're done. Hi. This is going to be an unboxing of my Majacraft shipment, and majority of the stuff that came in is going to go into my website e-commerce store. Before I go ahead and unbox this, so you guys can see all the new stuff that's come in, I did want to thank everybody that's subscribed, that has liked particular videos, for the feedback I've received via email and messaging. Just, I really appreciate it. It just gives me the energy to keep going. It gets me really excited to get the feedback and see people's interest in what we're trying to do here on the farm. So, yeah, I guess if you do like what I'm doing, please hit the subscribe button. Please leave me a comment. I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but the more comments, subscriptions, and likes and watch time that I get with the channel, the better performing I do and the more people will have access to me when they search for this type of content. So having said that, I also wanted to say that I had an episode made up for Sunday to launch, and I was having a lot of technical problems. And so I'm still trying to figure out how to get that episode up on YouTube, but it's possible I never will. So I'll try to edit out some of that content and put it in future episodes. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that I am intending on having a launch every Sunday night with an episode of The Good of Work. And I'm also trying to create some playlists for very specific content. One of them is how I do stuff, and I've got that called a tutorial, so I have smaller segments of specific fiber related things at this point. And I'll be creating more playlists focused on specific pieces of content. Time in the barn, interviews, you know, more of the mathy, sciencey stuff that we do with Rich. So if you're noticing changes on the site or a lot more uploads of smaller videos, that's what I'm trying to do, just to kind of get things organized and more valuable for viewers. Okay, so having said that, let's dig into this. This is a different size box than what I normally get. I did order a lot of accessories, so this is going to be really fun, really interesting. So here's our Majacraft label, all you need to spin your dreams. So without any further ado, let's get into this. Shipped it via FedEx. Actually, the shipping went pretty quickly. I would say the only issue I had was that FedEx wasn't able to give me an ETA, so it just arrived, and I wasn't really planning because I didn't have any kind of communication from FedEx, but it came within a week, so that was awesome. Okay, so first thing is a lot of, adverts and stuff, which I just find awesome. But I'm gonna get that all out of here and get to the good stuff. Hopefully I don't accidentally throw something. But last time I did an unboxing, there was a bag of stuff that I thought was just filler, and it turned out to be actually little flyer hooks and bands and stuff, so I'm trying to be a little more careful. Okay, first thing is an e-flyer. So an e-flyer, what that means is that every path that the singles take in the wheel are lined with this really nice ceramic insert. And what I learned watching some of the Majacraft videos of the training is that they're actually the same type of inserts that are used in fishing rods, which I thought was interesting. That is actually going on my wheel because I don't have that ceramic insert on my fine orifice, and I have already worn a groove on it, so this is for me. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. The next is something that's kind of jingly and making a lot of noise, wrapped up in this paper. I'm not sure what it is. So this is a wheel skeiner. I think this is part of the wheel skeiner. And yeah, there's an instruction sheet and then the dowel rods. And this is a tool that you can actually install right on your flyer rod to skein up your spun yarn from your Lazy Kate. So this is one piece of it. I'm suspicious that this is probably the stand for it. There is a video on the Majacraft website, and I'll add it to my YouTube channel so that you can see it and watch how you install it and stuff. But yeah, so there's the windmill portion of it. It's really beautiful. Doesn't really smell. There are little sawdust smell, because you know everything that they make is made by hand, made to order, which I just love that. And I did order a few flick carders. Those are going to go, yes, directly up on the site. And this is, you know, what I use for processing all my fleeces. So those will be listed probably by this evening. That's another one. I believe I ordered 5 and there are 4 in this shipment. That's a trick me. And okay, this is pretty cool. This I'm going to be really conflicted. I'm going to put this up on the site. This is a stylus kit. So I'm gonna, if it's still in the shop by the time I'm looking for additional content for the Good of Work, I will take this and put it on my wheel and start using it. I'm fascinated by it. I want to understand a little bit more about why you would use a stylus kit. I think it has something to do with long draw. So now that I know how to do long draw, that might be an interesting little project, an experiment to try. And I'd love to hear from any of you who maybe have a stylus kit already. You know, what do you think about it, and what is it for? Why do we need a stylus kit with all the other stuff we have? I think it looks really cool because it's very Sleeping Beauty-esque. Here's another one. So I ordered 2, forgot about that. So probably, very likely that one of those will end up on my wheel as a demo, and once this stupid COVID stuff is over with, I'll be able to have that at, you know, the shows I'm at, or if you come out for a farm visit or whatnot. Try it, see what it's all about. Alright, this is the thing that tricked me last time. I thought the last time I got this beautifully decorated little candy bag was that it was just candy for me. So I didn't share it with you guys, but then after I opened it up, it was little bits and pieces, parts. But there was one piece of candy in there. Yeah, so this is all, I just kind of went down the price list, the ordering guide for dealers, and ordered all of the flyer hooks that they offer. So there's a bunch of standard ones that don't have the ceramic inserts. They're a little bit less expensive. So I bought some of those. This one I think is the plying 24 millimeter. So that's the really big hook if you're going to be doing bulky or plying or whatever. And then there's a 6 millimeter for the lace weight. And that does have the ceramic insert. And then the really cool ones. I love these. They're kind of a purpley iridescent. That's really neat. I think those are 23 millimeter flyer hooks. Rose drive band, so I'll have 3 more in my inventory. I just ran out. And 10 millimeter E-hooks for your standard flyers. And 2 pieces of candy. White chocolate. Then there's some beautiful packages here. I will open these, but then if they are ordered, obviously I will tape them right back up, and they will not ship in these boxes. I'll put them in an outer box when they ship. But I do want to open them just to see, and I'm doing this so carefully because it's so important to me that manufacturer's packaging be intact. Okay, so these are the hand cards. I ordered a pair of these when they first came out, and I sold them quite quickly. You can smell the adhesive, I think is what that is. Really light, so elegant, really distinctive design. They're made out of the bamboo wood, so they're not as heavy. They're really light. They do every one of those tines by hand, which is crazy. 90, it says right there, 96 TPI. So I'll pack those up quite nicely and put them back in the box as they were. They're beautiful. Possible I bought 2 sets of those. I think I did. For if I, if they don't sell and the shows come around or whatever, I will happily take them out and use them as demos so you can try them. Or if we get back to farm visits someday. The other thing with most of the stuff, pretty much all of it, is where the hand cards. I offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you order something and it's not what you expected, if you're not happy with it or whatever, get back in touch with me and we'll figure something out. If I can't use it, I could probably find a home for it. So, okay. Then I also ordered a system of 1-row combs. So these are for less fine fiber, and this is the 2 combs, a nice holder, a clamp, really adorable little diz. Now let's get it all out of here. So the single row are for the, the more higher micron fibers. There's your clamp. Clamp it to the table. And there's some sheep. Retrain fast for agriculture forestry. Sorry, get back on track here. So that was the clamp. This is support that you clamp down that the combs sit in, and then here's your cute little diz and hook. So that's what you get with the single row set, and I bought one of those for the shop, and then I also bought 2 of the 2-comb systems, 2-row systems. This is not taped shut, which is fine. So it's exactly the same thing, only the combs. Two rows of time, the finer stuff. I just sold a set of these to a woman who had bought a set when Majacraft first came out with combs, and I think I have this correct. And what she had said was they must have done some kind of a redesign on these combs because they were a vast improvement. And the one thing that she said she really liked, and they do market this, is that the tines on the combs aren't as sharp as some of the other manufacturers, so they still are effective, they still work, but they're not so hazardous, So that is the whole order, and like I said, I'll have all this stuff up in the shop easily by Sunday when this airs. So I do have additional stuff coming in. I got a couple wheels, the little gems. I have an aura that I ordered because, again, I'm kind of interested in getting more into spinning bulkier art errands and stuff. But if you're looking for an aura, I will have that in stock, as well as a couple other things. So kind of exciting. It's the end of August, and what that means is it's pretty much time to start thinking about what we want to do for breeding. And it's also hay time, which you saw that, so we still have some hay to get in. The flock is pretty much what it's, that's not true. I was going to say the flock is pretty much what it's going to be, but there's actually some ram lambs that we're evaluating right now, so that's really not, you know what, it's very fluid. There's always something going on, so but I wanted to take you around the farm and just look at the different pens, because a lot of stuff happened over the weekend that I'm really excited about and I wanted to share with you. And I'm sorry about the wind. At some point here I'm going to get a real fancy microphone that'll eliminate that, but at this point I don't think it's, we'll figure it out. Anyways, so join me on a tour and I'll take you around and show you what we've accomplished over the weekend. It's really windy out. So what we're looking at here are the ram lambs from 2020. So some of these were those little babies that you saw frolicking. And they're all in this separate pen. They're now isolated from their mothers. And they're going to be here until we make our decisions about who's going to stay here for breeding, who we want to overwinter and give them a little more time, who we're going to be selling for breeding stock. But okay, so we got them all moved. We did our evaluation on all of them. We got fiber samples that we're going to be sending to Texas A&M to help us make a good decision about what we're going to do. And they also got their CDT boosters. So we have to do a CDT. It's like a tetanus shot. And they need one when they're little, firstborn, and then one right around now. So that's all done. They're in here. It's all cleaned out. This is that pen that I weeded out a couple weeks ago. And that's Koki's little ram just going to town on a huge piece of zucchini. Handsome boys. And just a reminder, when we are breeding for rams, we're breeding for rams that are polled, which means they don't have horns. Although this ram here does have what we call skurs. They're not going to be a full set of horns. They're just going to be these little horns, and he's still considered polled. That's Genoa's lamb. So this, so exciting. These are two ewes that we brought in from OK Acres. And they're going to be part of our breeding program. So when they came in, we put the coats on them right away because they're going to be in this quarantine pen together for a while, for quite a while. Possibly until breeding. So they'll be getting hay, so that's why we put the coats on them. So it's nice to get in new genetics, and it's really nice to get a pretty black ewe and a pretty white ewe. And I have become very partial to the solids, so they're both a solid color. Hello, beautiful. I'm so happy you're here. So this is, black one is Lacola. I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name, nor what it means. And then the white ewe, her name is Rosemary. And the white ewe had lambs. Rosemary. Oh boy, I think she's 2. And then Locola is a yearling. So she's the same age as the ewes that we've got that are in the Nordic characters. I'm so happy you're here. I really am. You're so beautiful. Welcome. And so they're actually in this pen that was Jon Snow's and Loki's. They had the full array. And actually that weed overgrowth, this whole pen was all overgrown with those weeds, and I cleared that out Sunday before the girls got here, so that it would be nice for the special girls. And I still need to clean it out for the boys, because this will end up we'll be using these 2 pens for breeding come November. And they're not in cycle right now, so there's no risk of fence line breeding or anything like that. So that's why we're comfortable having them share a fence. Aw, are you homesick? Look at you. settled in. I think they're getting bugged by bees. So what's new here is that we moved one of the rams out of here. So Rush was our black and white spotted ram that we had brought in from Kelly at OK Acres, and she actually took him back. So this weekend he got loaded up onto the trailer and had the trip back. So now we've got Jon Snow here is the gray, and Knightley is the fawn ram. So they will both get a breeding group this year. Just two really handsome boys. And they are full-grown males. So this is about as big as a Shetland ram gets. Hey guys. It's pretty warm today. Feels like it's gonna rain, but still it's a little bit toasty. So everybody's kind of hanging out in the shade until later. We did actually moved them over to another pasture. Yes, Sunday. Today's Tuesday. And so they've been kind of just eating at their leisure, loving life. Right, guys? So they'll have a breeding pen come November. Their wool I normally will put in a mill process bag pool because I don't like to process it. Why are you guys stomping? Is it the bugs? Are they bugging you? They look kind of funny. Alright, I'll leave you alone. Thank you. So this is a coming up project. This is actually a breeding pen, or it could be a holding pen, depending on what we need. And it's 2 dog kennel chain link fences that we found. Rich built the frame for one of them. And then the green shed here, that was actually our first ram shed when we only had 1 ram, and it was in our backyard. But we use that now for, you know, whatever, if we need a quarantine pen or a holdover pen for rams or whatever. But I gotta clean that out. And I'm gonna wait till it cools down because we don't need it until November probably. But I want to get the before picture so you can sort of see. You know, you just let this stuff go because there's so much else going on, and then it becomes this mammoth. Yeah. But I'm gonna have to tackle it soon. I'm going to show you how I go about washing my hand spun yarns. So I've got here some skeins that were on the music stand ready to be washed. So these are, I hand spun the singles, I plied them, and then I wound them onto the nitty knotty, tied them off, and now I have them here ready to wash. The first skein is the long draw, my first time ever doing long draw. This is with wool from the 3 fawn rams. We had 3 adult fawn rams at one time, and instead of hand processing that, I sent this to the mill and made it into roving. And the roving was actually ideal for learning long draw, I learned. So that is what that is. So I'll be washing that, and then I have all of this yarn from our O'Brien. O'Brien was part of the Downton Abbey group, 2016. It's still really nice and soft. Really stretchy and elastic. And what I have here are 2 skeins that are, you know, normal size skeins. One's a little bit darker. I did sort the colors a little. It's very, very subtle. I can't actually even make it out from looking at the camera. And then I have 10 little skeins that I'm going to wind up into cakes and turn it into the sheep hide kits. And so that's that. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start washing my skeins. Okay, so I have a really nice utility tub. We built this house, and the one thing I knew from my old house is I wanted a utility tub. And I just got this new faucet, which is awesome because I can now create more suds, and I can also wash out the utility tub much nicer. I'm running just hot tap water to wash my yarns. And here's where the yarn police are gonna attack me, but I just use Tide. I put a dollop, barely hardly any, just enough to get the soap action there. So one thing about using washing laundry detergent, the issue with it is it doesn't suds up easily. So I just use my stuff here. There will be a day sometime soon where I will go ahead and use a proper scour for wool, but I'm still not there. I actually put my yarn in right now because, you know, I'm kind of impatient, and then I just don't let the water run directly on my yarns when I'm loading it up. So I'll let the water run until the yarn can be fully submerged. I'm probably going to need a 4-inch level of water. See how pretty that is. I'm just starting to push it down into the water, let the water soak into the yarn. I'm really excited about seeing how that turns out after it's been washed. Hopefully there'll be a magical transformation. We'll see. Okay. That's good enough. So I'm going to let that soak for 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next step. 15 minutes have passed, and I know it's 15 minutes because what I do now is I set the timer on my phone for the interval of time depending on where I am in the process. And the reason I do that now is what used to happen was I would find myself taking forever to wash these skeins of yarns. It would take me hours because I'd keep forgetting that I was doing it because I always go off and do other stuff. Now I use my phone and I set the timer so that the process doesn't take so long. Because I mean, there'd be times when I come back and the water was freezing cold and I'd have to sort of start all over again. Alright, so no, just a little tip, fun tip there. Alright, so then just take the yarn out and let it sort of drain. I found this old plastic colander at a garage sale, and that's what I use for draining my yarn. So this was the soapy soak, and you can see, I mean, there's kind of some cloudiness to the water, so it did wash out some dirt. I mean, you think about this wool came off of the sheep, and you know, they're out on pasture, so there's always going to be a certain level of residual dirt there, but usually after this rinse, then it's pretty good, pretty clean. I'm going to use my handy sprayer, and then just run another same amount of clear water for the rinsing of the yarn. Really interested to see how this is going to turn out. Definitely is bigger. I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, so I'm going to just get that up to 4 inches, get my yarn nice and soaked, and then I'll leave that in there for another 15 minutes. Okay, another 15 minutes have transpired. So now I'm going to take the yarn out of the hot water. Use the drain. And then what I'm going to do, after this yarn sits for, a few seconds, I'm going to put it in my washing machine, put it on the spin cycle. So I'm going to do that right now. Just drop them in. I'm not going to mess with them or anything. I tend to try and put them in the center of the blades so that the strands don't get caught up in the blades when it starts to spin around. Just let it go. Sometimes I just turn it off because I get too impatient. Okay, so here's the first skein. This is that long draw. Now, what I do is I get my two hands in the center of the skein and I just snap it. Just to kind of get it stretched out and set the twist. I don't weight it, but I do like to do this. Look at all the poofy wool coming out of there. Just to kind of get it snapped and stretched and get the twist set nicely. And then I'll let it dry like this. And then what I'll do is I grab it by one of the tied parts because it's less likely to get caught up in my drying rack. And I found this at a garage sale. I used to do a lot of garage sailing. But then my house got too full of crap, so I forced myself to stop. But this was a really great find. So I don't even really know what it is. There's times when I'll set it like this, like on 2 horses if I have a ton of yarn. And I'll have all those spaces for hanging. But normally it just hangs up here on one of my utility room shelves. And then I have my O'Brien yarn. And I'm not going to make you watch the tortuous process of me trying to do this with those mini skeins because it's kind of hard. It takes a while, but oh, it's so nice. So this, again, is the O'Brien. Again, grab it by one of my tied sections. I'll change the angle on it just a little so you can see. And it just sits up there. Look at that. Same nitty-natty. So I have a sense I'm going to have less elasticity with this than I would with my worsted spun short forward draw, I guess is what it's called. I'm getting so fancy knowing all these words. Yeah, I used to weight the skeins. I would hang Windex bottles, and I guess I just did it because I read that's what you're supposed to do. I don't anymore because, I don't know, I want this to retract and, you know, really exploit all of that really nice crimp to give it the bounciness, you know, of the skein. Alright, this isn't going as badly as it normally does. A lot of times I have a really hard time finding my tied off ends for these mini skeins. But, yeah, I like to make sure that all the yarn, you know, all the strands are aligned correctly. Okay, here it's getting a little tricky. Just feels really great. Yeah, so with my sheep hide skeins, every once in a while I'll have some strands that come undone, but that's okay. I only tie these once because when I have to wind them up into cakes, it gets tedious having to cut 3 or 4 different tied ends. That's alright, because that's not how those are going to be made commercial. Those are going to get wound into cakes, so don't worry about that. Each one of these sheep hide skeins is about 30 yards. Those kits are really cool. Once I get them assembled, we'll do a little piece on that because they're really awesome. Okay. And then this I just let sit here and let it dry for, usually takes a day, but I mean, I'm in no rush. I have tons of stuff downstairs I still need to mark and get loaded into my shop, so you know, I've always got a hopper of stuff to do at each point in the process. This has been sitting there looking at me, and to be honest with you, the reason I haven't done it sooner is that I wanted to video this for you guys, and I didn't want to do the video until I had taken a shower and tidied up. And yeah, you know, blow dried my hair a little bit and stuff. All right. So there we go. It'll be interesting to see. This will definitely scrunch up a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see what this is going to do. That's how I do it. So those are the dried skeins. I do feel that O'Brien shrank up a little bit, particularly those shorter ones. They're quite a bit shorter than the standard ones. But this is the long draw. And it's still kind of, it's pretty loopy. You know what though? Let's knit it into something. Let's make a hat with it and just see how it comes out. I have faith that it's going to be just lovely.